Alright, video number 2, let's think a little bit about the content of your story. You've worked super hard on your worlds, so make sure you've got your map. Use that to help get those creative ideas going back through your minds. Last week you were working on your hero and your villain. So we are looking for a kind of save the day story. And so that's what you're going to begin to think about. What we're looking for is for there to be a problem in your world. Something goes wrong. Okay? Now it could have been caused by your villain, or your villain is just going to make it worse. You have to decide on that. So you have to decide on what the problem is. Then you're going to think, what's the hero going to do to make this situation better? And what's the villain going to do? Okay? So for your beginning, we're looking for a quick launch into your story. This isn't thinking about your hero or your main character. It's not he got out of bed in the morning, he stretched, he went into the bathroom and he brushed his teeth. No, that's a super slow start. This is a short story, okay? So you're needing to launch yourself into the story. So you're going to start with your hero, your main character in your story already. Can you believe that aeroplane again? Can you hear it? Every video that I've made so far, every time I stop to plan, no aeroplane. Every time I start to video, aeroplane. Anyway, okay, and it just distracts me from what I'm saying. Let me get back. Quick launch into your story. Just decide, have your hero already, it could be we're in the middle of a storm. It could be that your hero's in the middle of their day at work. It could be that just something where we're already launched. Okay, so quick launch at the beginning. Plan how you're going to do that. Then the problem is going to happen, and that's going to be the middle of your story. You're going to describe what the problem is, and then the problem's going to get worse. That's how you're going to build the tension. Okay, so if you think in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, the problem was initially Mr. Tumnus is missing, and then the problem gets worse because Edmund is missing. The White Witch is then known as the baddie. So tension is building, and that's what you want to do in your story, okay? Whatever your problem is, whatever goes wrong, then build your tension to where it's getting worse, okay? And from there, you're building, so it's like that rising action. We've drawn that on the whiteboard, that rising action, building, 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 building. Try not to do it in front of my face. Building, 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 building. Okay, so that's your middle of the story, and then you're getting to that climax, the absolute tension point where your reader doesn't know, is this just going to be horrible? Is this just all going to go badly wrong? Or that's when you start to bring in your solution, okay? And your solution solves the problems, okay? And in that, your character, your hero, okay, is maybe going to have changed in some way, just like we're seeing Peter changing because he's having to get braver. He's having to step up and do things that he maybe wouldn't normally do. Okay, but also your villain, okay, if you think of Edmund and you think of the White Witch and you think of how things are developing in your story, and I'm saying nothing, okay, because I don't want to give no spoilers, okay? But what we sometimes have with a villain is we can have a villain just get worse and worse and worse and worse. And actually the solution is that they have to be taken out. And that is the solution, okay? Or we have a villain who actually, because of the circumstances, our villain you might suddenly as a reader realise, actually this villain's not as bad as I thought they were. This villain, with a bit of help, with a bit of support, with a bit of encouragement, with somebody helping them and changing them, helping them change. Nobody can change somebody else, but helping them change. They suddenly change from being a villain. Sometimes they can step in and actually be the ultimate hero. Okay? So that's what is building in this middle section as well. Okay, these things are happening, and then your end is going to be a solution. Okay, where things get resolved, and that's going to be the end of your story. Now, some of you, I know, just love to write and 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 write. I'm not. This is a short story. Okay, so we're saying no more than 5 paragraphs. Beginning, maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs. 2 to 3 for building. 1-ish towards the end, okay? I don't want 25 paragraphs. I don't even want 10, okay? So when you're planning, your problem can't be the whole world. There can't be millions of things going wrong in your world. We need one problem, okay? It can get worse, but because we have to solve this in a short story time, within, I'm giving you a word limit, watch the size of your problem, okay? Hoping this makes sense. And the other thing to watch out for, and this is something I say all the time and it's super important, very, very, very little speech. Your characters should not be talking to one another. And the reason for that is they have to talk in real time. So it could take a whole paragraph for you to write about one argument, and that argument might only be 2 minutes long. Okay? Your story is going to take place possibly over a whole day. So you don't have a paragraph for 2 minutes. You can say they had a really bad argument. They called each other terrible names. It was awful to listen to. 3 sentences and you're done. Okay? Whereas if you actually do that argument backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, no. That works in a novel. It doesn't work in a short story. So speech to an absolute minimum. Okay. Launch straight into your story. Okay. Think what your problem is. Develop your problem in the middle. Come to a solution. I've written all this up in your assignment. If you have any questions, you can private comment me. Now, if you have chosen to work on Labour Day, you might not get an answer from me on Monday, okay? If I'm around and I can answer, I will. I'm around all day Tuesday, so I can get into loads of discussions with you if that would help. I can see if you're typing, I can see your Google Docs. If you want to say to me, oh, does this bit sound okay? Is my beginning okay? Have I launched okay? Absolutely. Message me and I can get involved in that discussion. I am absolutely here and around to do that next week, okay? And if not, just have fun with this, all right? See where you get to, and I super look forward to reading them. All right, take care. Have fun writing.